Hey everybody, my name's Ellis Johnson. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm a writer for FantasyPros. I'm coming at you right now with a best ball draft. Specifically, I'm coming at you with a puppy Superflex draft. Now, Superflex drafts has a whole bunch of strategy to it. I'm here to break one down for you, see how we can build a roster. Currently, I just got in a lobby. Let's see. I am pick number 5. Don't mind that spot. We'll see how she goes. I'm going to break down the strategy. I'm going to talk about the players I like, the players I'm avoiding, and specific to Superflex strategies, what we're going to be doing. Now, I've been writing football articles for about 8 years. I was at Master Drafter Football. I was at Rotoballer for 6 years. I'm not FantasyPros. I'm part of the ECR. I was the #1 ranker for quarterbacks in week 4 and the #1 receiver ranker in week 4 as well. That was my biggest week last week. So I like to think I have something to do, but you know what? I'm always looking for feedback. If you have any feedback, you let me know. I'm here to do a draft with you. Recording my screen right now. The draft starts in 3, 2, 1. Boom. What a surprise. Josh Allen goes 101. If you've done these Superflex drafts, you know the first 4 picks are basically locked and loaded. This one had an interesting switch at 3-4 and go Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, classic. But then Hurts went before Jane Daniels. I wouldn't necessarily do that, but you know those 4 that much better, which got me at 5. Now in this puppy Superflex, I actually kind of want to be 6, because at 6, 7, 8 spot I think are the hardest parts to draft, and that's where I love going running backs. But at 5, I still think Joe Burrow's that much of a step up for fantasy. Don't kill me, for fantasy. Then Mahomes in this case. So therefore, I took Joe Burrow with my #1 pick. Love it. Think it's solid. Let's go to the second one. Second pick, the quarterbacks. I mean, this is a really nice tier. You got Kyler, you got Nicks, you got Fields, and that's who I took. I don't usually go Fields because I feel like there's more variability, and I don't think he's a great NFL quarterback where I think Caleb could be. But with a pocket passer and Burrow, that rushing upside, boom, love it all day long. Fields, get on the team. Welcome to the squad. Let's see how round 3 goes. Round 3 is tricky because some lobbies have quarterbacks absolutely flying, others don't. This was an interesting one. Shockingly, receivers were going, and that leads me to my first big point here. This is a 2-receiver league. This is the first Underdog league I've been a part of or I've seen with only 2 receivers. Now I'm sure there's been others, but the big one here is typically they have 3 receivers. Typically it's that 1 QB, 2 RB, 3 receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Bob's your uncle. You're chilling, all right? So in this case, though, with only 2 receivers are so variable. Really, outside of that top 5, you got huge variance in production. So why not take a whole bunch of shots? With running back, you only really have a top, 20, 26 that give you actually weekly numbers. So I love loading it up there. But in this case, all the receivers were going. So guess who fell to me? Drake May. So we got Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Drake May. That is a huge upside to 3. I love 3 QB builds. I find 4 QBs almost impossible to deal with because it's just too many picks. But those 3, huge upside. We're hoping huge upside in those last 2. And Joe Burrow, you know he's a stud. I'm not just trying to be a homer. So let's see how round 4 goes. We'll get it going. Round 4 came in really clutch. Now there's a few players here that I really liked. I was looking at Garrett Wilson to stack with Fields or Chase Brown to stack with Burrow. Now, I don't usually stack the running back with the quarterback, but in this case, Burrow loves to check down. And Chase Brown was catching everything. I love Todd Brooks as a prospect, but I don't think he's doing a lot this year. Zach Moss off of injury, and P. Ryan is a great veteran and a good pass protector and catcher, but I'm not too worried about him. Chase Brown, huge upside at that RB1 position, although Garrett Wilson was close to taking that pick. Man, I really wanted Garrett Wilson to fall, but you know what? I knew I was taking a gamble. In fact, in hindsight, I might have taken Wilson over Chase Brown to lock down that jet stack, but seeing how the board played out, I don't know if I took Garrett Wilson. I don't know if T. Higgins would be here to take now. You can play the what-if game, but the other thing is we do these videos because we want to learn. There's never going to be a perfect draft. So we're going to do our best, see how it works, walk through the thought process, and be intentional with each of our picks every single time. So T. Higgins, welcome to the squad. Double stack with Chase Brown and Burrow here. I know I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm not trying to be a homer, but I think that stack is huge. Speaking of stacks, let's dive into it. In a super flex format with best ball, everyone knows stacks are the best in best ball. Okay, no surprise there. However, in a super flex, double, triple. Stacks are way more valuable because instead of just having one quarterback have that starting lineup and then having that link to that 1 or 2 receivers you stacked with, you can have both your quarterbacks. You have 2 quarterbacks, both double stacking, both go off, huge upside. Stacking in Superflex, I think, is more important than any other format when it comes to best ball. So I highly recommend doing that because you get that much more upside. Not saying go completely out of your way, but definitely be intentional with it. So that's why I went T. Higgins on to round number 6. I can't believe George Kittle fell here. The gap between McBride and Kittle, although I like McBride more, is way too big for the production that Kittle brings. Plus, if you're looking at kind of how the team's going, we got Ayuk coming back from a big injury. We got Pierce out with a hamstring injury right now. It's looking like he's the only guy in town, and frankly, he's coming off a massive season. Plus, this offense, despite having injuries left, right, and center, and Debo's gone too. Despite having injuries left, right, and center, they're still projected the 4th most touchdowns. I think they're going to be a great offense once again. Don't sleep on the Niners. George Kittle, welcome to the squad. That's a difference maker at a onesie position. I love that. Usually, if he's not there, I'm looking for that second RB. I'm looking for that second receiver. But I think when there's a lead tight end sitting there, I think the last one in that tier might be Laporta if you can get him falling on the next round. But hey, let's take Kittle, smash that one on to the next. Remember what I said about a 2-receiver league and probably wanted to hit it a bit later? Well, look at this next tier of running backs. We got that RB1 in Chase Brown. I love that. But this next tier is juicy, and I feel like it's getting disrespected just because they're old guys. Don't mean you disrespect them. So when we're talking James Conner, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, maybe. But we also got some Caleb Johnson, got some rookies in there. But those guys are all really good backs, and I think they're going to have really good seasons too. So why not get your RB2 here? Because after them, it tanks. After them, after Pacheco, it goes Brian Robinson. And then we're jumping to like Scatabo, Tracy, Tuden, Blue, Ray Dave. I like decent backs, but man, that's a tier gap. So who do we take here? Well, we look at who the running backs are, and frankly, we got lucky. James Conner stuck around just in time for us to take him, backing up Chase Brown as our RB2 in this draft. I love it. I think he is so good, just like fine wine, which I don't drink. I'm basically a college kid. But cheese, I like cheese. It ages well too. He's getting better with age. He's getting so much work, and he's so good with it. Knock on wood. Let's hope he's healthy. Love that as our RB2. After we just took James Conner, we have a whole bunch of we have a whole bunch of flexibility here. I haven't stretched in years. I feel like a brick, but you know what? We have flexibility when it comes to this draft. I think that because we have Conner, we can go receiver, we can go running back. I think there's one more running back in this tier before we really start falling off that cliff. That's Caleb Johnson, the rookie. Give me the upside, lock him in. RB3, that's a nice stack with Chase Brown and Conner there. We got 3 quarterbacks. We got 3 running backs. We got a tight end. Ellis, where's our wide receiver 2? We only got 1. Well, hey, now's the time. And frankly, in best ball, we only need 2. We're going to take like 10 at the end of this draft. But right now, let's take that WR2. And we have T. Higgins leading us off. Well, now, that's not great if you're setting your lineup. Because even though T. Higgins is a stud, he is variable. But you know what? When you can take multiple shots, you're probably going to go like Bateman, Alec Pierce falling late. Those guys, not the sexiest, but they're big playmakers. And you know who the like Bentley version of that, the nice version of that? It's Jordan Addison. If I was going to set my lineup every week with Higgins and Addison, I'd be terrified because that's like a roller coaster where the highs you go off the track and that means you're crashing back down at some point in time. But in a best ball, all day long, baby. Give me both of them every single time. That's our WR2. Let's move it on. Now we're hitting receivers and we're hitting them hard. So of course we just got Jordan Addison. Now let's see what happens. Remember what I said about stacks too? I think stacks and Superflex double the value. So let's see what's going on. I'm not a huge Diggs guy. 30-year-old receiver off an ACL. Iffy. Pink powder, guess it heals them. I don't know, but he sounds like he's doing great in camp so far. Diggs, welcome to the squad. Paired with Drake May. That's a good one. Next up, pick 125, and the guy who goes at 124.8 in ADP is sitting there. Perfect. Sometimes the world just works out. It goes to plan. Josh Downs, you are the best receiver right now on that Colts team, which is a hot mess. But hey, you know what? We saw what Wan'Dale Robinson did with Daniel Jones. He's looking like the starter. We know Downs can be electric with a rich under center. Downs, you're the last receiver, I think, of this tier for me. Even if it's not a stack, I love it. Get welcome to the squad. We right now have Higgins, Addison, Diggs, Downs. Not the sexiest, but remember, we are taking shots and they have upside. Welcome back to the stack train. We're stacks on stacks on stacks. We'll count on the racks here on the New England Patriots. We got Drake May as that QB3 right now. We already have Diggs. Kyle Williams is a bit of a reach. Usually I take Rashad Bateman here because he's good for some big weeks. But in this case, you know what? I'm taking a shot on a rookie. And the stack, frankly, I think is more valuable than that shot on a guy that you know is going to have those big weeks. I'm going to take Kyle Williams right there. He enters as our WR6, and we're not done taking shots yet. Now let's round out this entire roster. We're just going to hit the last picks. Bang, bang, bang. Right here, right now. We got a nice team. So let me remind you. Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Drake May, well, bam. RB, Chase Brown, James Conner, Caleb Johnson. We also are going into that next round here where we got some upside guys. So we got Rashad White. Rashad White, Bucky Irving is the star of that show, but he's small, and I know I don't want to predict injuries, but man, backs that size don't last. Rashad White also caught 50 balls last year. He was really good in the passing game. He got some red zone work too, wasn't too bad. I think he's not just a cut, but he has that weekly upside. With a tight end like George Kittle, I usually don't look at that second tight end until a little bit later. However, when a guy like Jake Ferguson, who honestly is third in line for targets on a team that doesn't, defense is goodish, it can be at times, they don't have a run. Dallas is just a mess of a team, but that offense is nice. And I think Pickens, CD, and Jake Ferguson's that third target. We know Dak likes to target his tight ends. Once he falls 10, 12 picks, you know what? Kittle does have an injury history, and I'm not saying he's gonna get hurt, but I don't mind taking that other tight end. I think at that tight end caliber is that much better than the receivers in this area. We took that second tight end, Jake Fergo, welcome. And then you know what? Today, Nick Chubb signed with the Texans. That's right. He still went at ADP. Give me Nick Chubb all day. They want to replace Joe Mixon. There was talk that they were trying to trade up for Henderson before the Patriots took him. They were looking at other backs. I know they got Woody Marks, but Chubb and Mixon basically represent that role. And who knows what Chubb could be? Give me that shot. Now, rounding out the receivers, we have Higgins, Addison, Diggs, Downs, Kyle Williams. A couple stacks there in Higgins, Downs, and Kyle Williams. Upside in Addison and Downs. Now, to round it out, this was a bit of a hard pick. I didn't like who was on the board here. You can see it. But Cedric Tillman, when he was on, he was on. Who knows if that's going to keep up? Who knows what he can do? But I like it. I like that there's intrigue there. Follow that up with Michael Wilson, who was actually a little bit of a red zone machine last year. I think that third-year jump, he showed promise as a rookie. I wanted to see a bigger step in the second year. But this third year, this offense could be good. And I know we're relying on James Conner, but I really like that. Don't love it, but for where this range is, I like what Michael Wilson can do. We also followed that up with Andre Yoshivas with that stack with Burrow. Basically, if Higgins does go down, we know Gesicki takes his place between the 20s, but Yoshi takes his place in the red zone. Yoshi is a red zone beast. I believe it 6 or 8 touchdowns last year. He's an athletic freak from Stanford. He's growing as a receiver, and the team loves him. Trust me, everyone comes on and said how great he is as both a guy and his work ethic as a player. And we've rounded out receiver with the last pick of our draft. And this one, shot in the dark. I know it's not the best way to go, but I like it, Arian Smith. I'm intrigued. Everything out of camp is that he's really good, and he's a fast, lanky, small receiver. Oh, I guess he's tall, but he's like 180 pounds. He's like 6 foot, 180, runs like a 4.3 flat, but he's really quick. He needs to work on his routes and everything, but I think as a Justin Fields deep threat, we saw what Darnell Mooney did with the Bears when Fields was there. We've seen Fields have those deep targets, those deep throws with George Pickens. You know what? Let's take a shot. Last pick of the draft. Then, just to double up that stack, we got Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end on the Jets, right now sitting as the secondary receiving option. I mean, think about this room. Frankly, if you don't know who Arian Smith is, I don't blame you, but he's looking like the second receiver. Taylor's the second pass catcher. Then we got Lazard, who's why is he on the team? Corley bust. We got, I don't know, do we have Brownlee still? I don't even know. Like, that's how Barrett is outside of Wilson. So you know what? There's our team. Let's run it through. Puppy Superflex, that's our team one more time. Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Drake May, Chase Brown, James Conner, Caleb Johnson, Rashad White, Nick Chubb. We go to the receivers. Higgins, Addison, Diggs, Downs, Williams. Woo-wee, smoky. Got Tillman, Michael Wilson, Yoshivas, Arian Smith taking some shots. Tight end, Kittle, bang. Jake Ferguson, locked and loaded, baby. Mason Taylor, take some upside rookies. My name's Ellis Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am the Fantasy Man. You can catch my work at FantasyPros. I'm writing there every single month. I'll be doing weekly articles once the season starts. Love y'all. Thanks for coming in. Please let me know what I can do better, things that I can improve on, things you'd like to see, content you'd like to see. I'm just getting started, so I hope you all stick with me. Thanks for being here, team.